Happy Friday, friends. Welcome to 9 News Now. I'm Greg Merriweather. So in just under 2 weeks, the Supreme Court will once again take up a case challenging Louisiana's congressional maps. It's the maps based on how you vote. Their ruling could have major impacts not only on what district you get to vote in, but also the Voting Rights Act for the country. In anticipation of that ruling, Governor Jeff Landry is considering calling lawmakers back to the Capitol to redraw our maps again. One of those vulnerable districts is home to Congressman Cleo Fields. He says redrawing the maps before the ruling would have some negative consequences. The case goes before the Supreme Court beginning October 15th. An update out of Roseland. The EPA is continuing to work to contain and remove all the oily material left in the Tangipahoa River following the explosion. They start additional sampling efforts this week. They'll do 5 rounds of testing over the next 5 weeks in water sources around the Smitty Supply Facility. The EPA says they expect to have the results of the first set by October 21st, so just a few weeks. Earlier this week, the EPA said so far they've removed 75% of the oily residue in surrounding water sources. Well, some big news from Washington. It appears Hamas has agreed to a deal to end the war with Israel, giving up power and even returning the hostages in the process. It is not a done deal 100%. Hamas says it still needs some time to negotiate some parts. President Trump has said that Hamas must accept the deal by Sunday. Israel and some other international leaders have already accepted the plan, which calls for Israel to halt its offensive and withdraw from much of the Gaza Strip. The territory would be governed by an international board, with Trump and the Prime Minister overseeing it. The Prime Minister.
Israel is on a path to normalization between Arab and Gulf nations, and we hope that can continue. But right now, the president has made it very clear to Hamas that this is an acceptable and detailed proposal that they must accept, or the consequences are going to be very grave for them.
Tuesday will mark 2 years, believe it or not, since Hamas's attack on Israel that triggered the war. Our Henry Blakes is over in the First Alert Weather Center now with a look at your weekend. Hey, Henry.
Hey, for now, looking good as we head into your Friday night. The sky is clear. Great shot of the Capitol on our Sky 9 camera. No rain, at least in our immediate area right now, but that could be changing over the weekend. But for now, enjoy the clear sky. Baton Rouge, 72 degrees. We still have that easterly wind, and the dew points are only in the 60s, so it feels great out there right now. And speaking of 60s, that's going to be our morning low, mostly mid to upper 60s along the coast. That's where you'll be in the low 70s. So morning lows are close to normal. The highs, on the other hand, not so much for your Saturday. We are going to be back in the mid to upper 80s across the viewing area. So you wake up in the morning, Baton Rouge, right around 67 degrees. Isolated coastal showers possible, especially south of Morgan City for tomorrow morning and then throughout much of the day. But for the moment, the weekend for the Baton Rouge area's forecast calls for 80s for your highs. Better rain chances come into play for Sunday, but one thing you're going to notice, look at the high, 83 for Sunday. So the cloud cover, moisture, and rain could keep us a few degrees cooler than we have been for quite some time. I'd like to show you our future cast, and even tonight and tomorrow, one thing you're going to notice, much of the wet weather staying along the coast, especially near the mouth of the Mississippi. That's where you can get some of the higher rain accumulations, but inland, we're talking about maybe a spotty shower or two for Saturday if you're lucky. Saturday is going to be mainly dry. Sunday, on the other hand, a little bit more of that moisture pushes inland, and we could see scattered showers and storms on your Sunday. Not expecting Sunday to be a washout, but I just bring the umbrella just in case. But for now, those chances on Sunday are at 50%. Still watching the tropics. We got a wave over the Atlantic. Things trying to get organized over the Gulf, well, rather over the Bahamas, and trying to make their way into Florida. That could bring some additional moisture to the Gulf Coast next week. The National Hurricane Center also watching another tropical wave off the coast of Africa that could go into the Atlantic. That has a 50% chance of development as we go into next week. So for now, your 7-day forecast does call for cooler temperatures on Sunday. But Greg, we're back in the 90s for next week once the rain ends.
All right, Henry, thank you. Tonight at 10, some details out of an interview involving the attorney for late LSU football player Kyren Lacy. The evidence, he says, clears Lacy of any wrongdoing in a deadly crash. And it's got a lot of people talking. We'll have more coming up tonight at 10.